Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, Jim, it's weekend again. I mean, it comes so fast that it seems like they're just a blur, but glad to be here.
Larry, there's chat amongst members of the U.S. government about speeding up the acquisition of strategic materials. Where does that put your company? Where does that place you?
Well, that certainly places us as front and center because we could supply, for example, if they were to enter into a strategic offtake with us, we'll be able to supply them with some of those strategic metals like cobalt and nickel and lithium, manganese, and for a small part aluminum. So if, I think that they should start looking at that. We have a process that works, and we're almost ready to try to get that commercialized. So we are looking for offtake agreements, and I think that some of the companies we've talked to may step up to the plate for at least that part of it. And, that's a terrific way to start out our business, which would allow us some flexibility in financing. So that's my suggestion, that we should be talking to him. We have an advisor that's connected into Washington, and maybe he could start the ball rolling if something was going to happen in that direction. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the government. It could be a Japanese company. It could be anybody, as long as we get the offtake agreement started. And so that's where we're at on that. But just before I leave that subject of critical metals that the Senate's talking about, and there's been lots of news on that, they have indications, geological indications, that they have some of these metals, especially the lithium. And but right now you're seeing a real slide in the commodity prices. It's difficult for companies to raise money, especially on grassroots exploration, to beef up some of these projects that have the right geology and the right showings on them, but not enough work to indicate what might be there. And I think it would be prudent of them to adopt what Canada adopted here about 35 years ago, and that's flow-through financings. And what's the flow-through financing? Well, if you raise, for example, $1 million through flow-through from investors, that write-off flows through back to the investors so that they can write that off against their taxable gains, and which is appealing to them. You can usually get a premium on the flow-through prices. If you have a good project, some good geology behind it, and some potential, getting the flow-through money would be a lot easier than getting hard dollars, because at this time, everybody's kind of puckered up with wondering where the commodity prices are going and what's going to happen in the general market per se. So that would be my suggestion, that the Senate should take a serious look at flow-through. We have a model here in Canada that works extremely well. It's not like reinventing anything. This is a process that's been working up here for 35 years, and it's something that would spur activity in the cobalt, lithium, manganese exploration, where they really need to become less dependent on outside sources. And the dependency on outside sources is overwhelming when you look at the U.S. as one of the biggest consumers in the world, and they have to support the Army and Navy and everything else, and there's a lot of new intellectual properties that demand lithium-ion batteries. So, and of course, just going back to that old steel industry, where you need manganese to strengthen steel, and you can't make steel without it. So I think that would be part of the solution for them. We're moving ahead on our project. As you can tell, I'm excited. There's some real interest in perhaps JV in a plant out there, some probably out of Europe. There's interest in that, and I'm hoping I'll be able to report further in a few weeks from now on what's happening there. But there's also one of our advisors has good banking contacts, and that is definitely another avenue that we'll be pursuing over the next few weeks. And I'd like to say that one of our advisors, Shayla Shiretti, who's the CEO of the Gigafactory that's going into the New York area, is starting to make batteries. And so I think the connection can be made there that we could supply some cathode material for them, recycled cathode material. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. And we're still waiting, and it should be issued, I hope, next week on our latest patent application. And it'll be a few weeks yet before the next application goes in. But what we're doing is we're trying to bring down the operating costs because commodity prices, as I mentioned earlier, are sliding. And we're not as exposed to the commodity prices. Certainly our profits would not be as high, but they would be still significant. Regardless of where the commodity prices go at this time. And so I'm excited going into the weekend, Jim.
Larry, where are you traded, and how can people find out more information about your company?
Well, we're traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. And we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. We have a very informative website out there, AmericanManganeseInc.com. You can reach me at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com. And you can also phone the office here at 778-574-4444. And, just to mention again that we are a strategic metal company that's focusing on the recycling of lithium-ion batteries.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on May 17th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.